Wow, that's awesome. Let me share a small incident which was associated with this SIGA, salivary immunoglobulin A, and the associated research that uh, Dr. Joe Dispenza is already sharing. See, notice this book was written before COVID. Yeah. Now, I will ask you to think of this one question. Let me ask you this question itself. In fact, the question is that all those children under 15 now, who are right now under 15, they didn't need any vaccination for COVID. Think about this. It's a very simple question, but you can relate to what Dr. Joe Dispenza was talking about in this chapter as we were studying. All the children below 15, they didn't need any COVID vaccine. Neither they got infected with COVID, or even if they have got infected with COVID, their internal resistance power or the immune system was so strong that COVID couldn't make any impact on them. Even many of those children, they don't even know that there is something called COVID exists. So they kept on asking their parents what COVID is all about. So children below 12 years, they didn't need any vaccination. So those children are now 50.
Yeah, because these children, they don't have any stress levels, not the fear
Yeah,
concept that they would get, the corona. So
yeah,
they were like out of this zone basically. So indirectly, their emotional levels were quite good. So I think that's would
absolutely.
be the reason.
Absolutely. And probably they didn't have cortisol at all. And we had to work hard on this game. To improve our SIGA level, we need to focus on things such that our cortisol levels are down. Otherwise, that compromise with our own uh, immune system. And imagine that it can be caught just from your saliva. That is just good enough to catch that where you are right now. And I think since this science was already there, people were already aware of children who are below 12, they may not need vaccine at all. So all the activities for those children were at an up level during that time. बच्चों को excited रखने के लिए there were many ways, many new ideas kept on coming. Even this industry of self-help book converted into self-education industry, and people started educating themselves, and that made a huge impact. Huge impact. Amazing. This whole story of that how the genes work, that makes a
Yes.
huge difference. And
And
it's
and
and the
yeah,
funny
yeah.
part is that it's in our control. And even funnier is that we are not aware of it. Yeah, Padma.
Yeah, I know. No, I just wanted to continue like saying that genes don't directly cause the disease. And our lifestyle choices, the diet that we have, the exposure to toxins, these all impacts how the genes are expressed, right?
Yes, that is what the study of epigenetics is
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, Rajeshwari, you can ask.
Actually, what I wanted to know here in the book, Joe Dispenza is mentioning that if we are doing the same thing, getting up in the same way, making the tea and all that, all the things as I decided, that is not good. Some shift or some pattern I have to change. But again, we are telling that to make a good habit, we have to do the repetition. So I'm just not able to connect it. If anyone can help me to connect these two things?
You have to identify which pattern are beneficial for you. If those patterns are beneficial for you, yes, go ahead and continue. And identify which
Okay.
patterns are not beneficial for you, then you switch it.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
So,
Thanks. I was
yeah,
just.
yeah.
I think
Rajeshwari,
nothing should be an addiction. At times, it may be beneficial or may not be beneficial. So
Uh,
it's better to get detached. You should have that willpower to get detached to your habit at a certain time. So in
hmm.
order to attain that detachment, I think we need to not get addicted to any habit, either it's good or bad. You should be in a position to leave it also when time, takes a toll on us. That's what I'm
Yeah, some of the
thinking.
time, what happens, I want to study, but my family wants me. So there is a conflict. As the Pinaki just said, you wanted to do, but some unpredictable things comes in the meanwhile. So that also create the chaos in the mind, whether I should continue what I was doing or whether I should be moving along with them.
That's the what I think. So I may be wrong. The balance is the key. So once we when you wake up in the morning, just write down what all the things you need to do and prioritize on the basis of that, and just separate your special time for the family. So in case if you're doing some deep just 1 minute, 1 minute. So, in case if you're doing certain deep work, and if your child comes and wants your time, then you can say him or her politely that this is the time right now I'm focusing it. Would you don't mind if I give you after an hour or so, so that you can manage your balance between the both the things. So, and that is why, like, you have to prioritize the things only by dumping your thoughts on the piece of paper and making your priority list. What are the three non-negotiable you really wanted to do? That's how you can balance the key. Balance is the key actually. So that वो guilt mode नहीं आएगा कि वो family को मेरा time चाहिए था मैं नहीं दे पा रही हूँ मेरे को study भी मेरी priority है. But you prioritize and give timelines. That is why our brain loves the structure when we gives the timeline. From this to this, I will study. So whole family knows that this is your me time and nobody will disturb you. This is your family time. So you give your entire time and energy to your family so that you will be at peace at the end of the day.
Okay.
Rajeshwari, I would like to add over here, it's not only the quantity of time, it's also the quality of time that we spend with the children. So
Hmm.
even if you,
Yes.
so also being a mom and sometimes single mom is working. So if you ask me how much time did my husband spend with the kids, I would say very little physically. But if you ask my children how much time did their dad spend with them, they would say, yeah, he was there. You know how he was there? Because he was Skyping. So at that time, there was Skype. So he would Skype with them and he would spend time and ask them what they were doing. He would babysit them while I was working. So they never felt that he wasn't there. So it really depends on the the quality of time that is spent.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
yeah, see, if we follow the messages which are being presented in this chapter, it was very clear, Rajeshwari, आपको वो सारा जीन्स को स्विच ऑन करना है जिसको आप करना चाहते हैं. So there are
Hmm.
certain genes
Yes.
which needs to be switched on so that you get time to do whatever you want to do. Only then those genes will express. Otherwise, the default genes are expressing anyway. Even when you are asking this question, the old genes are expressing. मैं समय कहाँ से निकालूं, कैसे निकालूं? It's not about taking out time. It's all about switching on those genes. The time will automatically carve. You can automatically carve out time for your activity. It will happen automatically. उसके लिए मेहनत नहीं करनी है. मेहनत करनी है उन जीन्स को switch on करने के लिए. That's what this whole thing is all about. And you can switch on those genes in many ways. In fact, what Joe Dispenza is talking about, that even in your silence, even without any action, you can switch on those genes. And once you keep on doing
Yes.
it over a period of time, your body will get into that habit, and it at some day on a very or on some moment it will start showing up. And when it starts showing up, you will automatically have time for yourself. It's as simple as that.
But when you say in silence, I mean, you are still, it's with your thoughts.
Yeah. So you're
So,
still building the muscles.
which means you can actually intentionally do like Joe Dispenza does. He does it by meditating. He has different kinds of meditations. So through meditation, you can really, you know, fire. You don't have to do it for long, as he says. It's just 3 times a day, 10 minutes each. So just half an hour a day to really work on it.
अब करके देखो.
I have done it.
Yes, yes.
कट कॉपी हो गया, पेस्ट करना है. Otherwise it will remain in that cut copy zone, as we discussed last night. Pasting is important. You know. Cool.
Hello.
What else? Yeah, Pranavi, Ankita, what do you identify for yourself this morning in last half
You,
an hour? What?
you're asking. Good morning, Pinaki. Is it me you have called, or you have called two names?
No, there's only one Pranavi here.
Okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about that IG protein ka this thing. I mean, it shows that the more emotionally we are happy and all that, no, we can uh, generate a lot of good hormones, and that will I mean, you can generate new patterns, and you can be happy with yourself. Once we are happy, we can stay more healthy. And what else? Yeah, I was just trying to observe that muscle flexing thing with the thought process itself. So that was something new for me. I was just listening to that. And yeah, that's all, Pinaki.
Let me share something very interesting with you about this IgA.
Okay.
Whenever you are in a stressed condition, like whenever you feel that things are not in your control, or you just want to take things in your control, things are not working the way it is, and I want to make it working my way. I'm giving a good sweet shot. And this sweet shot is just put some uh, sugar on your tongue. थोड़ा सा शुगर ले लो, कुछ दाने, इवन 4-5 दाने भी काफी है.
Okay.
And you notice what happens.
I think we feel little, I mean, happy. Not exactly happy, but then you'll be away from the sadness or something like that. For a change, there would be a shift in the mind.
Yeah, so what we are doing essentially is that when we do that, this small activity, we use physiology to control our psychology. तो physiologically हम क्या कर रहे हैं, अपने आप को एक sweetness का feeling दे रहे हैं, and that controls the psychology. Now the psychologically, if the body wants to feel that sweetness, उसको calm down करना ही पड़ेगा. उसको cortisol level नीचे लाना ही पड़ेगा. It has no choice. Like you are giving your body no choice but to pull down your cortisol levels and improve your IgS levels.
Okay.
So basically, you're tricking your brain, right? Good.
Exactly. But the quantity has to be extremely low, such that it should not impact to otherwise.
Okay.
That's why if you notice that chocolates, they create the maximum impact of
Yeah, the
positivity.
dark chocolate, actually, during exams, I used
Exactly.
to have it without knowing
Exactly.
the reason also. Okay.
Exactly. And this is one of the psychological twist that Cadbury's is doing to promote their product. And so they have all these varieties of Cadbury's. They have different varieties of Cadbury's. Did you notice that? कितने सारे variety हैं इनके. Different flavors, different tastes, different size. And Earlier, it was a product for children. However, they promoted it as product for an occasion now. और occasions क्या होता है? Occasions are all moments where you love to be in a state of enjoyment, a state of entertainment, a state of excitement, a state of love, encouragement, motivation, inspiration. And इसको इन्होंने market किया, है ना? So they market it during festival times. They market it during like अभी जैसे Valentine's week चल रहा है, fortnight चल रहा है. They are promoting it heavily, so that your cortisol levels are low and the good hormone levels are high. The good hormones means all the dose hormones: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And it's just a game. So that's why when you go for meditation, kya hota hai? So you reduce your cortisol levels and you improve your good hormone levels. So one of the way to trigger it is taking sweets, but in small quantities. The objective should be fulfilled. It's not to fill your stomach, but to impact your emotional being. Emotionally अपने आप को uplift करना है. So you can think over it, करके देखना, आज ही करके देखना. Occasionally, जब भी ऐसा situation आएगा, just करके देखो. Just get into the kitchen, take a few grains of sugar and put it in your tongue, and then you see what happens.
Okay. I would like to add, for those who don't know, I mean, I'm not very sure. I think maybe you all know about that. Dr. Joe Dispenza had a major accident, and he was not, he was very young at that age. He was doing a triathlon and he was hit, and he was in bed, and he was told he was going to be bedridden. And he was in a lot of pain. And while he was lying in bed, he imagined getting his nerves back into his spinal cord and being connecting them. And then it took a long time. But after, I think it was a year or so, a year or two, he could stand, he could move. So he has done it himself, just imagined, and he did the impossible. Doctors could not tell him, could not understand how he did it, but then he explained, because he could not move and his life was gone. And now, and this has been many years ago, now he's much older, he has even children, so his own life shows that it has worked. And that's how he dedicated his life for educating himself and others with what he experimented.
Very true. Very true.
So my takeaway from here is not to start the day with a mobile. So if I want to join Sunday's Zoom class, I have to get up much earlier, start meditating and everything, and then come here. So that I have to keep on changing and doing things.
Exactly. The neurons that fire together wire together.
Right. And that's why I travel a lot. I meet different people. I'm not in my comfort zone. So I keep on doing new things, having an adventure.
You are in your desired comfort zone, not the undesired one.
It is not a comfort zone. You come out, if you stay in one place, because I don't know what's going to come if you travel. You don't know. Everything is new.
Yeah.
It is nothing that I desire and it happens. It's just, I do not have any desire. I accept the way things come.
That is your desire. And that
No,
is
that
your
is
comfort zone. You want to live that life.
that is acceptance to life and surrender to life.
And you deliberately create those comfort zone. घर के अंदर रहना नहीं है. This is the uncomfortable zone for you. So come out of that uncomfortable zone and get into that comfortable zone of living life, meeting people, traveling places. That's what your comfort zone. That's what you're calling.
That is your meaning making.
क्या करूं? दिमाग का काम ही यही है, मीनिंग मेकिंग मशीन.
Actually, that
Okay,
usually
fine.
happens with me, Pinaki. I usually explore a lot going out because I feel more comfortable staying there.
देखो ना.
Pinaki, many are leaving, so we should set an intention before leaving, because that will create an impact throughout the rest of the week. So whenever people are starting leaving, no, so just set an intention. Okay, with whatever we read today, how we can implement in this week and see the change. Because the piano example is a beautiful thing. So whatever, so let's not like today itself, if we wanted to, if you are attending any Zoom session, you have a meeting, right, at 11 a.m. you have some Zoom session. So right now after the session, you can just visualize how you want that entire Zoom session to go with that flow. And after the session, you can just give us it doesn't happen, the miracles will not happen a single day, but we can start practicing the visualization art with this piano example, and let's see the things get unfold. So with this ending intention, we can wind off the session, saying that everybody, whether people who are in the practice of meditation, they have their own ways, but what we are focusing right now with this particular chapter, that how we can start using our brain muscle or brain imagination to work for us, right? And we can you can desire your happiness, or design your day, or design your life in the way you want it actually. So we can start with this, and it would be very beautiful to people sharing the experience that today morning I visualized my certain event to happen in certain way, and it actually folded in that way. Or maybe after a week, if there is an event lined up for me after 1 week, then I can start giving at least 10 minutes 3 times a day, or 5 minutes 3 times a day, and start visualizing that event in advance and see how the things get unfold. So with this ending intention, we can all leave. Otherwise, the discussion, before the discussion get, and epigenetics. So we should not be at the victim mindset. Oh, my father had a
Absolutely.
diabetes, so I will also. We're having a diabetes. I have no other option. So we'll just elevate ourselves from that victim mindset. Start making a conscious choices. How we can uh, develop a conscious good habit, so that our genes will get a new direction altogether, and we don't fall into that hereditary diseases. So epigenetics is a big, huge shift where we can say with proudly that yes, our heredity, we should not be victim of our heredity, and we can really change our genes. So
Yeah,
these are the
heredity
two
itself is an
top
outcome of
takeaways for
epigenetics.
me. But I have only one problem. If somebody, into that low phase and very obsessed about that thought, then how to break that obsession? Because all this ideas which you gave, okay, put sugar whenever you are in a sad mood, put sugar, or elevate your emotion. But if I'm really obsessed with my thought that why that particular thing happened, then how to break that cycle?
The easiest way is to listen to that person and figure out what kind of words that
And
person
if
is
the
using.
person is not ready to
नहीं नहीं,
have.
आपको मिल जाएगा. उससे बात तो करोगे ना, तो that person anyway talks, like, so when you listen to that person, observe that what kind of words that he is using, and which of these words are weak in nature or negative in nature.
Okay.
The starting point is not to use those words in your communication,
Yes, yes,
because every word has its own experience, own genetic expression.
yes,
अभी मैं ज्यादा डिटेल में नहीं जाऊंगा. So
yes,
every word has its own experience for you, and your experience is the outcome of your own genetic experience, expressions about those words, about those feelings. So what happens when you use those words in your communication? You regenerate those feelings. You regenerate, like re-trigger those genes into to create those expressions. So the best starting point for handling any chronic disease, or particularly any emotional disease or mental disease, the best starting point is not to use those words in your communication in any way. For example, you want to
How to?
say that, okay, I'm stressed.
Yeah,
Now,
Pinaki, can you give the specific examples for
both of
this?
them. So, for example,
Yeah.
you say I'm stressed or I'm depressed or I'm in anxiety. I'm taking anxiety pills. Like things are very hard for me. When people saying these things, just catch them and tell them, okay, you say the same thing without using those words. Now, again, what we are doing, notice carefully, epigenetic point of view. That person is saying whatever he is saying or she is saying using the words that he is saying in his communication, right? And those words are genetic expressions. Now we are telling that person, the same person, that you say the same thing without using those words. Now what is happening? You are forcefully triggering those genes which are which you can use to express the same thing. And those genes are probably dormant at this point of time. Now, when you have no choice but to use some other words to express yourself, what you are doing is you are forcingly triggering those genes to express themselves. And at some point of time, I'm telling you, this the same person will say, yeah, if I don't use these words, how can I express myself?
Yes.
And that is the starting point of transformation. है ना? जैसे water boil करता है, water boil करने के पहले एक point होता है, something which we call boiling point. So when the water reaches that boiling point, उसके बाद ही उसका steam बनने का possibility बनता है. So unless water reaches that boiling point, there is no possibility it will convert into steam. Same with ice. Unless it reaches that freezing point, it will not convert into ice. Now, the moment it crosses that barrier, the property of steam is not the same as water, or the property of ice is not the same as water, though the fundamental molecule is H2O. Structure बदल गया, उसका property भी बदल गई. So that is what you initiate by using some other words to express the same feelings. अब आपको वो same
For
feeling हम express नहीं
example,
कर पाए.
yeah, how do you express that if I am like I'm depressed, sad, how do you express the other way, Pinaki? I
Okay,
mean,
ask
just
the
as an
same, Pranav,
example.
ask the same question without using the word depressed and sad. Ask the same question.
Uh, are you feeling kind of low, or is everything okay with you?
Okay, ask the same question without using the word low.
Hmm. I think I need to get it trained, Pinaki, because I'm not really getting the words to replace that.
Can I help?
Yeah.
How can I feel bright and happy?
हम लोग मिस्टेक कहाँ पे करते हैं जब हम लोगों को एडवाइस करते हैं. Like you are telling Pranavi what to ask. So you are killing her possibility of getting into that state.
What I mean to say is how to express myself. For example, if we see our close friends, or at times we feel like sharing our pain, you feel a little bit relaxed, right? So,
Replace the word pain and ask the same question.
mm,
It seems that you are not feeling okay. Would you like to tell me something more about it?
Replace the word not.
okay. Is everything okay with you?
Yeah. So how are you feeling now?
Yeah, a milder way. You're
Yeah.
literally not focusing and using a
ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन
hard
शुरू
word.
हुआ ना, बॉइलिंग पॉइंट तक पहुंच गए ना, अब उसको थोड़ा सा मेंटेन करना है so that you get, like absorb that energy and get the transformation done. जिसको हम बोलते हैं
Okay.
लेटेंट हीट.
Okay.
साइंस में है ना लेटेंट हीट कौन सा हीट होता है? दैट हीट डजंट शो अप एनीवेयर बट इट गेट्स इनटू ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन. So you absorb latent heat to transform into steam, or you release latent heat to transform into ice. And you cannot measure this latent heat, but the heat is going somewhere. So the moment you want to get into that state, the transformation will take place, and all of a sudden you will discover, oh my God, what I'm doing with myself for so many years. Life जीना इतना ही आसान है. And the best way to get into any such state is asking the same thing with a few words. And there are three words, and these three words is how can I? Okay, and just see what happens. How can I is an opportunity which you ask your subconscious mind or conscious mind that what can I do now to avoid this situation. तो हम कह रहे हैं अवॉइड करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, आप करना क्या चाहते हो उसके ऊपर फोकस करो. अवॉइड करके क्या करोगे, मतलब व्हेन यू वांट टू अवॉइडिंग दिस थिंग व्हाट यू एक्चुअली वांट टू डू. फॉर एग्जांपल आई वांट टू अवॉइड गेटिंग लेट. Now, can you do anything about it which you want to avoid? So how can I be on time? That is the question you need to ask. So if I ask you in the same communication, do not use the word late and ask the same question. Now you look for some other words, right? Some other thoughts. And that encourages you to take an action so that you can actually avoid that situation and you can achieve the result that you are looking forward to, achieve the outcome that you're looking forward to.
With these little words, there will be a greater shift in mind internally, I
That's it
guess.
all about neuro-linguistic programming. You are using your words to program your mind to do the things that you want to do. Choose the words carefully, selectively, and see what happens. You know, I met a gentleman a few days back, and he was saying he was basically not happy because it was discovered that he has got diabetic. तो naturally he is not happy. इतना दिन तो सब कुछ सही था. Now all of a sudden you discover that my HB1AC is showing that it is beyond 6.3. 6.3 मतलब it's almost getting into that zone. तो मैंने उनको बोला कि यार ये तो बहुत अच्छी खबर है. You are sweeter than any of us. And so leave their life from that context and then you see what happens. तो अभी क्या उसके दिमाग में वो मैसेज बैठ गया कि आई
Superb,
एम स्वीटर देन अदर्स. So he is
superb,
not saying that I
superb.
am diabetic anymore and he is enjoying life. And then I advise there are many ways to reverse this process. I was talking about this book itself, Joe Dispenza, the book that we are reading right now. I shared that genetically अगर आपने वो create किया तो genetically आप उसको हटा भी सकते हो. It's all your choice. अब आप करना क्या चाहते हो बोलो. अगर आप genetically इसको करवाना चाहते हो तो you need to stay in that sweet state. अदरवाइज अनस्वीट स्टेट में रहने के लिए तो ऑप्शंस है ही. उसके लिए कुछ मेहनत करने की जरूरत नहीं है. ये बाय डिफॉल्ट you can maintain that unfavorable state. But to create that favorable state, you need to be active on that. है ना. तो है वही, आपने खाली शब्दों का is the words to express yourself. That's it.
Yeah, can you just please tell me the name of the book? I mean, the full
The
title.
one we are reading right now.
Yeah, Joe Dispenza's book, I know. But then, is there any,
This is
you
the
know,
book.
okay, the
This
name
book is
is,
enough.
I mean, what is the name of the book? The name itself is Joe Dispenza?
He is the author.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking the
Becoming
name.
Supernatural is the book that we are reading.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you.
I shared this book cover also, so it's there in the book. आप आए
Okay,
कैसे इस सेशन में? So
I
there was
just
a link there,
directly
right?
jumped into to to just get something out of it. So
So
yeah, it's
wherever that link,
interesting.
you will find the picture of that book.
Okay, okay, yeah, thank you so much.
And we have also a group for that, WhatsApp group. You can become a part of it. I'll add you there.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Pina.
All right.
Wait just a minute. One of the persons said that sometimes you like to talk to your friend if and feel lighter. I would like to add to this. When you share with your friend what's going on in your life, you're talking about the undesired state where you are. So you're wiring and firing the same neural network. If you
Okay,
want something else, then you have to go in the desired outcome and share the desired outcome that you want with your friends, which will bring you much more than just feel lighter. And one more thing I would like to share. My mom has a very big medical history, okay? and a long one. And she's now 86. And whenever she is sick, she's forbidden us to ask her, "How are you?" I should not ask her, "How are you?" Because when I ask her, so after the night, in the morning when I wake up, I want to ask her, "How are you? How are you feeling?" Because when I ask her, I put her back into that state. She becomes aware of her body's pain or suffering. She doesn't want to be there. So I ask her, I learn from her, where does she want to be? How does she want to feel? So that she concentrates on that desired feeling. And I'm not joking. She was not supposed to survive all these years. She was not supposed to even have children and get married and everything. She she is not only us, but she has got grandchildren, and she has survived my dad too. So her doctors too. Her doctors also have died, but she's here. So I learned so much from her. So just want to let you know, focus on the desired state. And she hasn't read this book, by the way, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Okay,
Okay.
now before you go out to the world, just just like someone, I don't remember who was it, but I really liked it because she said set an intention. So set an intention for today, just a minute. How would you like to have your day? Which emotion would you like to be predominant on this day? Feel that emotion and take that emotion with you throughout the day. So thinking of this, first I will start my day with gratitude to all of you, and make your Sunday an amazing, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Shilpa.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.